Wednesday. We're talking September, and we're going to be finishing our story about voices here in a moment. We have a new handout. If you're a kid at home, there's a little piece of paper. Looks something like this that you're going to need to pick up because it's going to be connected to the quiz coming up. And then we also have the story thing from yesterday. Again, also on Canvas if you need that too. You guys, the quiz coming up on Friday is the biggest grade we have so far this 9 weeks. Not because I'm trying to make it big, we just haven't had a lot of quiz grades. And so this will end up being our biggest quiz grade we've had up to here. I know this class especially struggled on the quiz last week, so I'm going to try to help you. I have a few things here in a moment to try to help you guys out. And then it is a reading day tomorrow. You have to bring your own book tomorrow. If you don't have book, it does cost you B points. Where you will have a chance, you are correct, to read. If you want to earn extra B points tomorrow, you can. You have the option for that. If you want to earn extra credit tomorrow, you have the option for that also. If you just want to read and that's it, that is also an option that you have from there too. And I am fine with any of those things. Plus, Matthew, once you get enough points, there's a good chance you get to move from that area because I think I have another kid that wants your seat. I just need you to get enough points for you to move him there instead of you being over there.
Can you tell me how many points?
More than he has. So once you can get more points than he has, then we can do a switcheroo.
I have like 27 seconds.
See? You just got to have a goal, but at the rate he's losing, and if you gain, then those two might pass each other in the night.
So how do I increase?
I don't know. Probably
maybe because the paper you have.
Sheet. I just talked about
Maybe look at like the sheet.
Maybe look at the white paper he gave you at the first day of school.
Anyway, tomorrow, make sure you have book and you'll have time to read. Callie.
So, how many points do you get from reading?
Right.
None.
And Brian.
Really?
There we go. My kid's still missing work again. So, as we pointed out, as you keep missing work, I keep increasing how I get to motivate you. It goes standing, then it goes struggle town, then it goes hallway, then it goes lunch detention, and eventually I get the work turned in. It's just how much we have to go through to get there. And so this is just my reminder to keep helping kids get things turned in and help them pass. Phantom?
What comes after lunch attention?
Don't know. Be that kid that finds out.
Oh.
The little piece of paper that you got that says fun they had that you picked up today, this is what Friday's quiz is over. So you're going to be reading story on your own because that's kind of how it's supposed to work. I'm giving you guys skills that you then use those skills on your own. I've been teaching you how the point of view and characters and setting works. I tried to find a story I don't think you'll hate. It's about kids who hate school. And so it's set in the future, these kids who have to go to like an e-learning online school and they hate it. And so I figured that might connect to some of you guys who also hate things like that. So just trying to help you. I'm also aware that a lot of you guys keep telling me you hate reading. So I don't want you to do poorly on this quiz. So here's what I'm going to do to try to help you. If you go to Canvas on today, where I'm telling you about it, there is a button that says Fun They Had Video. It is a video of me reading it to you. So if you want me to read it to you, you hit the little button that's right there. It's a video from back during quarantine, so you get to see me with short hair and wearing a mask. But it's like a 7.5 minute video of me reading it to you. If you want to listen to it, you can. If you don't want to, you don't have to. The other button says Quiz Review Guide, and again, because I know we struggled last week on this, I created a review guide which is like all of the questions on the quiz. I'm giving them to you ahead of time. Because I figure it's only going to help the responsible kids, and those of you who aren't responsible, it doesn't really matter. If you want to take a look at the questions ahead of time, you can. If you want to write down the answers ahead of time, you can. They're not the exact same, but they're similar enough because I wrote my own review guide, I write my own quiz, I know how they connect. So that's up to you if you want to use it. It is open note, it is open story, it's open Google, it's open all of those things. But so was last Friday when almost everyone in this class failed it. So just trying to help you, you also have a time limit. You only have until end of class. Once end of class happens, you turn in what you have. If you spend the whole class period reading that story, then you're not going to pass. I am giving you 2 attempts on the quiz. If you want to take it twice by the end of class, you can. and I will take the higher of the two, but you only have until the end of class. Oh, and
Can we read this tomorrow?
you can. It's only going to take you like 7.5 minutes, but that's fine if you want to. I would not have that be the only thing you read. You'd be really bored, but you can. It's almost like I planned that out ahead of time, because I figure a lot of kids would do that. I was trying to help some of the smart kids. Question, so tomorrow reading, Friday quiz. I'm trying to help you do well on quiz, but at some point you get to take your own control of things and we'll see what happens. Then, the IXL. Just to give you a heads up, I have had kids turning in the IXL, not following the directions and getting a 0. If you turn it in and don't follow the directions, you can fix it. So if you want to fix it, you just have to resubmit it by Thursday night or Friday morning, and you're good. If you've already turned it in, I've already graded them. I grade them each morning when I go through and see who turned them in. And so if you have turned it in and you're not sure, you are more than welcome to take a look at it and check, and that is up to you from there. I also bumped up the perfect score. So if you go all the way to the 100, I now bumped it up to 13 out of 10 because I had kids complaining and saying that sometimes you get stuck in those high 90s. And I was like, I respect that. So if you push all the way to 100, I'll now give you a 13 as opposed to 12. And I will go back and change anybody who had already done it and gotten the 12. I'll change it up to a 13. You wanted to know if he's already down into single digits because for some reason he thought putting his feet up while in striker town was a good idea. I don't know why he would do that either, but that's how people spend their points. It's almost like you're over there to be punished, not kick back and relax. But, you know, what's up, Gabe?
So now will you get 3 extra B points?
If you want to switch it over, absolutely. I'm fine with that. Good on that one. Yay! Then, let's try to get 2 more of you B points. As far as Dancy thing goes, ooh, is that a piece of paper? Is it for me?
Yeah, it's just
Dreams come true. Thanks. Nah. Act. No, it's a kid who's absent, so I'm gonna grade for him. I'm trying to be nice again. Let's go through here. So if you've already gone, and we've had 4 of you go already, you can't volunteer again. We have new people to go through. And do we have volunteers? And if not, we get to randomly. We do have 1 volunteer at least. And that my only volunteer. You get to pick a number, dear. Pick a number between 1 and 23 to find our next person. What number? 12? 12. And that's a girl. So we're going to go for a boy. So choose up or down. Down it is. That is a boy. One that literally sits right in front of you.
I gotta use the restroom.
As soon as you get done, you can.
You're so messed up. You should do what you were doing.
And we'll restart it in just a second. Good job, Jim. Now you're done. You don't have to worry about it again.
Yay!
So, quick rewind from what we did yesterday so we can finish out our story from today. I gave you guys the short definition of exposition, which was
Boring bits.
Beginning stuff.
boring beginning stuff. And then rising action,
Exciting
Exciting
stuff.
stuff.
Some exciting stuff.
and then
OMG moment.
climax.
OMG! Oh my god.
I still put OMG.
Nature,
but
what the Sigma
we need that
moment?
one.
Why are you
Falling action,
Explain what the Sigma.
and
Boring and
Not Sigma.
Boring ending stuff. Oh, there's a sequel.
start of the story where nothing's exciting happening yet.
Exposition.
Exposition.
Rising action. You can fly in your climax.
Yo, move!
Climax.
Falling action.
Falling action.
Not Sigma. Resolution.
It's a plot. It can't be right.
And our definition of foreshadowing.
I'm trying to see the screen.
It's fine. You make your choices. We all get to make those. That's how choices work.
That's how we learn.
I don't like being
What we learn. So you guys, let's see. We got pretty far in the story. You guys, we did. So we got through. We know who main character. Oh wait. With foreshadowing, why is how that written an example of foreshadowing?
Because it looks like it's horror and it's like it looks like it's finger painted.
Works for me. Who is our main character?
Sam.
How would you describe him?
Scaredy cat.
And what time of day does it start off?
Morning.
Bedtime.
And what part of the week? And at the start,
Bedroom.
works for me.
It's a dream.
And then it does start off with it being in a dream. What was the dream of?
Why?
And then we got a little bit farther with you guys, where now we jump to the new location. New location is
Nurse's office. Yeah, we
school, specifically science class. There you go. And now it's not voices bothering him. What's the other?
His eye turning
Eyes turn white and burning.
white and flaming.
So imagine white piece of paper, white paper in front of eye, and there's like a little pressure pushing against it. And so that's the issue he's dealing with. So we are on front side, third column, towards the bottom. Home children.
Nick is gone. Oh.
There you go. All right. So this is where we're trying to find out if he's wanting to go to the nurse. So third column towards the bottom. Let's go to, thanks ma'am. I should be fine once I get something for my head. He walked up to the front of the room and grabbed the laminated blue pass off its hook on the wall. He didn't have to turn to feel the eyes of the class on him as he walked out. Even though he was just going to the nurse, he could still feel all the attention being directed at him. He could actually feel the silence in the room as all the eyes behind him followed his progress from the teacher's desk to the door. God, this is beginning to feel like a really bad dream. They're all dead! He stopped in his tracks with his hand on the door. The voice, the one he had heard that morning, the one he had thought was just a bad dream, the deep male voice that had haunted his thoughts since that morning. He's dead. The thought raced through his head. Is the class dead?
Over there.
The voice spoke again. He turned to look, one hand still on the doorknob. The class was staring at him. Mrs. Larks was looking at him. He could hear the first few giggles erupt in different places in the classroom. Where? Who's dead? More giggles burst out from within the class. He could hear Trevor's voice asking, "Hey man, are you okay? Who are you talking to?" His teacher's voice again in his ears. "No one is dead, Sam. Why would anyone be dead?" She paused for a moment and then added, "Do you need someone to go to the nurse with you?" Sam vigorously shook his head back and forth. "No, Mrs. Larks, I don't need that." But did you hear the voice? The guy saying people were dead? Did anyone hear that voice? He scanned the room with his eyes, looking for anyone nodding their head yes, but no one was. They all looked scared of him. Even Trevor. "We're almost there," he heard the original soft, whispery voice say. The same voice he had first heard that morning. The voice didn't sound scary at all. It sounded soft and friendly, but it still managed to scare him. It really made him want to know almost where. He heard his own voice say out loud. So we do bring the voices back. It apparently was not just an eyeball issue. What are the voices talking about now?
Dead.
Still death, but they also brought in, what is it? Almost there, over there, and then almost. So over there and then almost there. So do you have guesses as to what's happening to him? Yeah,
He's getting possessed by a ghost.
I could dig that. So does that explain? I guess that would explain the eyeball white thing going on is possessed by a ghost. All right, I can roll with that.
I
Yeah.
think that would do it.
Oh, so the possession of the ghost and that. Oh, so it's like the white is like the little ghost hands. I could dig something like that. Is it? Did you say sounds too cute?
What?
So do you think it's not that?
No, that sounds cute. Ghosts are poking out his eyes.
That makes it sound a little bit
Covering his
weird.
eyes, not poking.
That's why he felt the pain.
Gio?
Probably schizophrenic.
He got into dream rituals, and dream ritual Some in dreams.
That's what I saw.
So we're sticking with the ghost idea? Works for me.
No, it's actually it's a haunted kid in his house that got kidnapped and never seen again.
He's just schizophrenic.
Yeah, he's probably just.
Okay, I could roll with that. How would that explain the eyeball thing?
Because he could be blind in one eye, so it'll so sometimes yeah.
Yeah, I'll roll with that. So, little dots at the bottom mean that we're jumping to new scene. Here we're gonna, oh, I forgot, we'll say that for a second. New scene, we're gonna find out whoever the voices are, the ghosts that are covering his eyes, they're going to increase their interaction with him, and they're gonna add another fun part to his suffering.
What is ghost? Why don't you just tell us?
Oh, I don't know, it could be any. Man, Trevor said at lunch, you really had us freaked out today in Larks' class. I thought you were going to go all psycho on us or something. Your eyes were all flipped out, and the way you kept talking about dead people and stuff, that was spooky. You sure you're okay? Sam looked up from his sloppy Joe and gave his friend a smile. I don't know if you'd say I'm okay, but I'm feeling better at least. This morning has really sucked, Trevor. I don't even think I can put into words how messed up it's been. He took another bite of his sandwich and chewed slowly, looking at his plate. Are you going to try? Try what? To explain it to me, Trevor said in an exasperated tone. Sorry, sheesh. Trevor said in an exasperated tone. I haven't spoken with you since Mrs. Larks took you to the nurse. Okay, you say weird stuff has been happening. Well, what kind of weird stuff? Well, okay. Voices, for one thing? Like, I've been hearing voices, apparently, from people that aren't there. Like, I can hear them just fine, but I seem to be the only one. Wow. Voices. Really? I mean, that's kind of cool. That's like full-blown crazy person stuff. I've never known a real crazy person before. Sam looked up at his friend in time to see his smile. It's not funny, Trevor. That's really scaring me. There are like these bright lights going off in my eyes. It's like I'm looking at a light bulb with only one eye. It doesn't hurt, but it's weird and it's creepy and I don't like it. I just want it to stop. And you're bleeding. No, Trev, it's been in my head so far. I haven't actually been hurt or anything. No, man, you're bleeding, Trevor said excitedly. Check out your arm. What? Sam asked and looked down at his right arm. Trevor was right. There was blood coming out of the crook of his elbow. It seemed to be quite a bit of blood, too. What the? Sam exclaimed while swiping at his arm. The arm tingled now and it felt funny, but it didn't really hurt. You guys know where the crook is?
Right here.
Yeah,
Get your blood drawn.
the squishy bits. So it's just all of a sudden the squishy bits just started. The spot where you say sheesh would be right there. He grabbed some napkins off his tray and wiped at the blood. He saw it was coming out of a small hole on the inner bend of his elbow. It was right on the vein. It was like the vein had just opened up and started shooting blood out on its own. What's wrong with it? Trevor blurted and then asked more quietly, is there anything I can do to help? Yeah, give me your napkins and go get a large Band-Aid. What's wrong? A soft voice asked. Sam spun in his chair to see nobody near him. Who said that? Stop fighting it! A much stronger voice resounded on his other side. He quickly looked to the side of the new voice, saw the same sight. Nothing. Losing him, the soft voice again. It sounded, what was it? Anxious? Worried? He wasn't sure, but it didn't sound good. Falling. A new voice this time, but what was falling? Sam thought he'd missed the beginning of whatever it was the voice said, and it bothered him. Something important was falling, and it seemed to involve him. So, new location. Our new location is? The lunchroom. Now I would say we have a new character to add, which would be?
Trevor.
And how would you describe him?
Very
Optimistic.
I can see
A
that.
football.
excited about blood.
One of those football like
Real
kids on like
friendly.
high school movies.
I was gonna go a little simpler. I just said his friend. And you said we have taking place at lunch. What is our new issue that we have going?
He's bleeding.
Bleeding from?
His arm.
So it's like the inner bit of his arm, the vein just all of a sudden pew, started turning into like a little water fountain that was shooting out from there. Kelly.
Why was Trevor excitingly saying, man,
Because
your
he's
arm
probably-
is bleeding? Like, what?
I don't know. I think
Your arm is bleeding!
apparently I
That's so cool.
didn't read it the way you wanted me to. I apologize. And then we still have. Ooh, are the voices talking about death?
I mean, all
No?
Not anymore.
I mean, in a way.
Losing him.
Nice. So, little dots mean again, jump to new spot. This is where some of you, not all of you, some of you are going to start figuring out the foreshadowing. This is the scene where some kids put things together. If you have the moment where all of a sudden it all clicks and you have that moment, awesome, do not say anything. I do want to ruin it for the other kids still figuring it out. So I'm just trying to help you out from there. And it does turn out we may have some new kid that is going over to that area because apparently being around humans does not seem to be working. Yeah, I'm paying attention.
Got so scared by her own.
Don't worry. She's moving also. It's more than one person. We have a lot of kids with issues. He didn't know any of this. Sam looked at the math test again and sighed. All that studying he had done, and it was no help. None of these questions made any sense to him. It was almost like it was written in a language he couldn't understand. He looked at the first question and rubbed at the bandage on his arm. The stupid thing still hurt and wouldn't stop bleeding. It had been bleeding for almost 2 hours now. Stupid slow trickle that didn't seem to stop. Sam snuck a quick peek around the room to see if anyone else was having trouble with the test. No one else was looking up. They all seemed to be writing furiously. All right then, Sam said quietly to himself. I studied. This should be easy. Let's try the first problem again. Let's see. The square root. Not gonna make it, said a loud voice just above his left ear. Not again, Sam moaned out loud. Come on, make the voices stop. Tell me who you're talking about. You're driving me crazy. Sam finished his rant in a voice loud enough to nearly qualify as a shout. Well, Mr. Tynes, talking during a test will drive me crazy, his algebra teacher, Mr. Finns, told him. I've heard you had a rough day, Samuel, but please keep quiet during a test. Shock him! The voice was louder now and almost seemed angry. I'm shocked! I'm shocked! Sam shouted back at the voice. This whole freaking day has been shocking. I don't want any more surprises. If you want to really shock me, then try leaving me alone. That would shock me. Mr. Tynes, I am shocked also. I am shocked a good student such as yourself would behave like this. That is quite enough. I will not have an outburst like that in class. Especially... Clear! The voice drowned out Mr. Finn's last few words. The voice was insistent this time, almost yelling, but not sounding like it was directed at him. Sam stood and looked around the room. Is what clear? Nothing is clear. I don't understand any of it. The pain that suddenly shot through his chest knocked him off his feet and dropped him onto his butt. His heart and lungs and chest had simply exploded. His eyes swam with pain. His buzzing fingertips reminded him of the time he electrocuted himself screwing in the light bulb up in his attic. He slowly looked down at his chest to see how big the gunshot wound was. It had to have been a blast. It had to have been a bullet. Nothing else could hurt this much. Nothing. No blood, no hole, no bullet, just intense pain. It hurt so much he could do little more than sit there with his mouth open and gawk at his own uninjured chest. No response, the voice yelled at him. What the bejesus? Sam thought. What do you mean no response? What kind of response did you want? It had knocked him off his feet. It had made his chest explode. He felt like he was dying.
Clear!
The voice bellowed out of him. No, there's not, squeaked Sam in a whisper. I don't know what you want. How can it be clear? Who are you? Why are you doing? Another explosion of pain.
Yeah, you're just not getting me.
Pain blasted in his chest. He could actually feel his body jerk and jump as something like electricity shot through his entire body. His vision blurred. He could see the classroom and the stunned expressions of his classmates and teachers as they melted into the whiteness that was surrounding his vision. His hearing seemed to fade as the classroom sounds dissolved. I'm dying. So this is what it's like. But why? Why'd they have to kill me? What did I do to them?
He's special.
Stable. He heard the soft voice tell him as his consciousness blinked out. Without saying anything, without saying anything, raise your hand if you think the foreshadowing makes sense. If it doesn't yet, that's fine. There is one more page, which I will show you, and we'll see if it makes sense then. We'll see if this last part goes with what you're thinking. If you need it, it is on Canvas, but I'm going to put it up on the screen so you can see it there, but I did put the same link there. Final scene. Sam awoke and saw a white room he didn't recognize. He could smell disinfectant, and he heard the voices of people far away, maybe in the hallway. He tried to sit up, but was stopped by the pain that shot through his body. Oh, man, he hurt. That last shock hadn't killed him, but his body sure ached like it had tried. Thought we lost you, a voice said from off to his left. The soft voice he had heard before. So the voices weren't done with him yet. Not again, Sam told the voice. Why can't you all just leave me alone?
I'm not on your
Because you probably would have died if we'd done that, the voice replied. The voice had just answered him. No, the voices never answered. They just spoke. He slowly turned his head to that side. So, how are you feeling, kiddo? The nurse standing next to his bed asked, using the voice he had come to recognize and dread. Who are you? Where am I? What's going on? How did you manage to... He trailed off, looking at this lady who was staring at him, adjusting a clear plastic bag hanging on a pole next to his bed. His eyes followed the thin tube connected to the bottom of the bag, followed it down until it connected with his arm, connected with a needle inserted into the bend of his right elbow, exactly where he had been bleeding before. You were incredibly lucky to survive that car wreck. I mean, if you hadn't been wearing your seatbelt, you'd have been thrown through that windshield just like your parents. She stopped short and looked at him again. It was a concerned, motherly look. Well, you're lucky to be alive anyway. Car wreck? Sam asked her. What car wreck? You mean the one in my dream? The nurse wrinkled her nose and gave him an odd look. It was no dream, sweetie. That was more like a nightmare. From what I understand, you almost died last night in the emergency room, too. Your heart just stopped. The doctors had to shock you to get your heart started.
Yes.
Shock me? Sam asked. An eerie thought was beginning to creep up Sam's spine and nudge its way into his brain. Yes, Sam. They had to use the defibrillators to get your heart beating again. If they hadn't, you'd be dead right now. So, those of you who had raised your hand before, did it go where you thought? So, to help out others, what are defibrillators?
The iron thing that you shock together go clear.
That make you go
Clear.
When they said they're all dead, he was like on the ground out of the car wreck. And that's when they said you go.
No, they had already gotten him to the hospital.
That's not.
Yeah, he was in the hospital.
I figured it out the first clear because I figured out that they were trying to shock him.
Yes.
Yeah. It was a bad dream.
Like,
The school
clear.
was his dream. The car crash wasn't a dream.
Nicely done. And so that's when they had to shock him back
I
to life
figured it out
again.
the first clear. Stop it, Adrian.
Yeah.
Shut.
His pants are so dead.
And where is your evidence?
My evidence is when the nurse, she was trying to say,
if you had
Did
run
she not
into
listen
that
to the
window
last
like your
part?
It was like
Did you not listen to the last one?
Correct. AJ?
I think he went under cardiac arrest because like
That was so terrible.
because they got him and he was kind of just sitting there and like he was in his own dream.
You are correct again. Brian?
That's also being called a coma.
You were out there. You say my. We don't know if this.
No,
I
that's
think
not a coma because
Coma's you.
because coma's you breathe
don't-
and you have
yeah.
heart
Cardiac arrest, you can't really freeze.
So,
You're done.
the
In cardiac
opening
arrest, you're
scene
dead.
where he has a
When you're in
dream
cardiac
about his
arrest,
family dying in a car wreck, was that a dream?
You're dead. You're
Turns
physically
out
dead.
that
Then
was
you're breathing back to life.
the dream
In coma, you're
was
still
the
yeah.
whole rest. Phantom?
Is this a book?
No, just the short story, just that. So, at the very beginning, when it says they're all dead, who are they talking about?
all his family
his
when they
family.
found him
So all of his family. Now, why is he not dead?
because he
He was in the back seat with a seatbelt
He
on.
had the seatbelt on. So we find out the rest of the family died, but apparently he's still alive.
Apparently they weren't wearing their seatbelts.
How about when he's in science and his eyes go white?
They were checking to see.
they had the
like
lights.
when the eyes dilate.
There you go. That was when they shine the little flashlight and it says he can
Your
feel
eye goes-
pressure. It's because they're pulling open his eye and shine the light in there. And so you can feel it goes all white and then goes all white. Then the blood on the arm.
Ivy.
Entering Ivy.
So
I hate Ivy.
when the voices then say stop fighting it, what do they mean?
Like trying to fight them helping.
He was shaking.
Yeah, that was the whole idea because he's trying to think it's a dream and he's trying to smack at it. I'm assuming he's like, and like smacking at the arm. It then, in that same scene, says, we're losing him, meaning,
He's
dying.
He's going under cardiac
Pretty
arrest.
much
and
dead.
then it says falling, the falling means
His heart
his
rate.
heart rate. And when the heart rate falls,
You die.
then how do you bring him back to life? So the next scene is then him being shocked and brought back to life.
CPR.
If you go through all of the voices throughout the whole story, like the first one says, we're coming. That's the paramedics showing up at the car wreck and they're saying, we're coming. And then they see all the bodies and the next thing they say is, dead. Then it jumps to science where they then see the shining into his light and it goes from
Shining into light.
light shining into his eyes.
This was an amazing video.
Reading tomorrow.